pin number 1 to pin number 8, and pin names are P1.0 to P1.7, that is port 1, and the points related to port 1. Here I mentioned that 8-bit bidirectional IO port is nothing but complete port 1, not for individual pin. Or if you want to write for individual pin, in that case you should write it is an bidirectional IO pin. If we are talking about single pin from the port, it is an bidirectional IO pin. Have you prepared table and pin number and pin name? Side down in description. I have received, I think, 8 to 9 students scan copies of the unit 1 and unit 2 whatever cover, that is architecture till architecture. Please send it today, and from today to till tomorrow morning or till tomorrow evening you send 1 to 40 all. Whatever you have written in your notebook of MCA, please send me as a scan copy. Is there anyone in waiting room? Okay, right, and for port 1, it is an 8-bit bidirectional IO port. This is first point in description. After that, it consists of internal pull-up register. It consists of internal pull-up register. This is second point. Third, for use as input. For use as input, it is necessary to apply 1, or simply write as I have mentioned in the table, for acting as input is equal to 1, that is pin should be assigned 1, and for acting as output the pin or complete port should be assigned to 0. So acting as input is nothing but making 1 or making high to that particular pin or port, and for acting as output make that particular port or particular pin to the low, that is 0 volt is applied. So acting as output 0. Internal pull-up is mentioned. One more point is here, it is mentioned that for verification of program memory, that is ROM, it is not necessary to write that. Whatever the points are with us usually carried out, you simply write, no problem. So after port 1, next pins are pin number 10 to 17. We go control signals after. So first we cover the ports. So P1, 1 to 8, after that P3, 10 to 17. 10 to 17, 8 pins are there. So here P3 is associated with various additional pin functions. That's why different functions are belonging to the respective pin of an port 3. So just write down. It is also an 8-bit bidirectional IO port. 8-bit bidirectional IO port. After that, same, that is for acting as an input, you should make that particular pin or port 1, that is apply VCC, or acting as output, you should make that particular pin or port low, that is 0 volt is applied. And again, same function is there. Internal pull-up registers are also available for port 3 also, that is port 1 and port 3 both are having internal pull-up registers. So it is not necessary or mandatory to interface and pull up registers externally while using the port mostly as an output port. So while delivering the current from controller to outside world or various parameters or peripherals, in that case required current will be provided from that particular external pull-up register, and this case is happen with respect to the port 0. Okay, so along with these basic IO pin functions, the port 3 is having additional pin functions for each pin, that is it starts from P3.0 to P3.7. So these are also mentioned here. So RxD and TxD are nothing but serial communication pins, that is interfacing of data, wired data. Physically we interface the transmission line as well as reception line with the microcontroller 8051 with the help of Rx. Transmission is from TXD and reception is from RxD pins. So you mentioned TXD, RxD, serial data. Input is nothing but reception, received data. So it is called as input to the controller. And when controller is going to transmit the data, it is called as output. So serial input, serial output. Or you may write transmission as well as next is reception. Okay, have you written till this? Next, INT0 and INT1. Hello? हाँ, फास्ट होते हैं क्या? ओके ओके ओके, sorry, just a minute. So 8-bit bidirectional port, it is written. After that, acting as a input. So we are talking about or discussing about the port, that is port 3 completely, that is pin number 10 to 17. So right, acting as an input is equal to 1. 1 is nothing but you have to make that pin or complete port connect VCC. For acting as an input, it is necessary to make 1 to that particular pin, and that is nothing but making or applying high signal. And for acting as output, you should make that particular port or port pins 0 initially. Yeah? We are not discussing about the contents received or contents taken out from the controller as output or received as a input, but before that it is necessary to make the port pin either input or either output. For that purpose, we have to specify before using that particular pin or particular port. म्हणजे आपण जे पोर्ट किंवा पोर्ट पिन यूज करणार आहे आयदर P3.5 आपल्याला एकच पिन वापरायची आणि ती इनपुट म्हणून वापरायची, त्याला आपल्याला स्विच कनेक्ट करायचं. त्या केसमध्ये डायरेक्ट स्विच कनेक्ट करून प्रोग्राम मध्ये डेटा ऍक्सेस करून चालणार नाही की आपल्याला ही P3.5 आपल्याला इनपुट मिळेल किंवा P3.5 डायरेक्ट आउटपुट. सो इट इज नेसेसरी इनिशियली यू हॅव टू डिफाईन बिफोर एक्झिक्युशन ऑफ युअर ऍक्च्युअल कंटेंट्स. मग इनिशियली एक्झिक्युशन करताना जेव्हा आपण लो करू त्यावेळेस ते कन्सिडरेशन काय होईल की ही पिन किंवा हा पोर्ट कम्प्लीट तुम्हाला आउटपुट म्हणून वापरायचा आहे. येस, हॅलो. नाही दिसत का? सॉरी, काय झाले मध्येच कॉल आला मला. वेट, आय विल शेअर. Now it is visible. Hello. Okay. Sorry. So here, while accessing the port or port pin, initially we have to specify the function, whether it is used as input or whether it is used as a output. So after specifying, that is mentioning 1 or mentioning 0, we are able to apply some contents, that is data, either 0 or 1 in binary format, that is applying VCC or applying 0 volt as an input if we are using that particular pin as an input pin. And if we want to use a particular ports or particular port pin as an output pin or output port, in that case we may write content through CPU, or CPU will write the content, that is either 5 volt to make the particular pin high, that is making 1, or it will reset or clear the port pin or complete port by writing 0. So in this way we are able to write as well as read the contents with the help of CPU, and CPU will analyze whether the input or whether the particular port acts as a output. So for understanding of an CPU, it is necessary to make a port pin high or make port pin low initially, so that it will be easier for various operations. So after that we go, that is next statement is related to the internal pull-up register. So internal pull-up registers are provided to provide an additional required current when we are generally talking about the port pin acts as a output pin. And in most of the cases when we use a particular port pin as an input pin, in that case most of the sensors are delivering current up to the 20 milliampere. That is, if you are knowing that 4 to 20 sensors output is 4 to 20. 4 to 20 is nothing but for no output, that is zero output, zero reading, it will show the 4 milliampere current. And for maximum output, whatever the range is there for either temperature, pressure, level, radar type of sensors, whatever the sensors are there, so range is different. That is, it may be used for 10 meter, it may be used for 20 meter, it may be used for 100 meter distance measurement or level measurement, temperature, pressure also, flow rate also, but strain gauge also. So in these all cases, the maximum current provided or delivered to the port pin as an input pin is 20 milliampere. So this is the in capacity with the controller. That is, most of the controllers having 15 to 20 milliampere current. Fan in and fan out, if you have already studied in digital techniques, the maximum current and devices applied to that particular digital integrated circuits. So these concepts are nothing but fan in and fan out. So in case of microcontrollers, we use the word current sourcing, current sinking. When we talking about the input pin, then current is synced, that is gained from that sensor's output as an input pin. So current, applied current from the sensor is synced by an controller's input pin. And when we are talking about the output pin, that is particular port pin used as output pin, in that case controller is provides the current, required current to drive the next circuit, that is whether it is transistor is connected, whether it is diode is connected, or some relay is connected. So based on that requirement, controller needs to provide an current, and that to its limitation. So controller limitations are defined in the manner of sourcing and sinking capacity, sourcing for output pin and sinking for input pin. So for this purpose, most of the sensors have generated their outputs in terms of either 0 to 5 volt or in terms of 4 to 20 milliampere. You may not find in most 90 to 99%, एक sensor showing output AC 10 volt, AC 50 volt, 0 to 50 volt, or current is having the capacity of 10 milliampere to 100 milliampere. So no, because most of the controllers are able or capable to handle up to 20 milliampere current easily and 5 volt voltage easily. That's why the various outputs are in the range of 4 to 20 milli and 0 to 5 or 0 to 3.3 volt or 3 volt voltage DC volt. Okay, so next additional pin function we are discussing first, that is P3.0 RxD serial input port or serial data reception. You may write data reception, receive pin. Next pin is P3.1 TXD, is nominated as serial output port or transmission pin, data transmission pin. If you have completed till this, then we move towards the external interrupt 0, that is INT 0, and external interrupt 1, that is INT 1. So for this purpose you have to use the pins P3.2 and P3.3. so mention external level or edge triggered interrupt. Here the interrupt detection methods are there, edge triggered or level triggered. We discuss later, but till you writes I will say something regarding level and edge triggered. When we are discussing about the type of interrupt detection is level triggered, in that case the interrupt is detected at either low level, that is at 0 volt, or at high level, that is at 5 volt. So here you have to select in SFR whether you want to detect interrupt at low level or you want to detect interrupt at high level, that is at 5 volt. So as per user's requirement or user's demand, we are selecting the level of an interrupt detection. Interrupt is detected anyhow, but the choice is that either you raise the interrupt, that is activate the interrupt at low when the signal becomes low, or when the signal becomes high. This is the one method, that is level driven interrupts. And second type is related to interrupts is nothing but edge driven interrupts. That is, here either you go with the rising edge or either you go with the falling edge concept. So what is mean by rising edge? Rising edge is nothing but when the signal moving or increasing from 0 volt towards the 5 volt, that is high signal, whatever the straight line is there, level changing line, that is from 0 to sharp 5 volt, straight line, vertical line is there. So for this line we may call as a rising edge. You consider the edge, sharp edge. Okay, so from 0 volt to moving towards the 5 volt, it is called as rising edge. And when we move from 5 volt towards the 0 volt, that is in downward direction, 5 volt to 0 volt, in that case it is called as a falling edge. Are you getting rising edge and falling edge? Hello? Okay, I think you might be undergone for rising falling edge in ECAD, na, or not? ECAD, analog circuits. Okay, so rising edge and falling edge. If you want, I will draw. Okay, have you seen this? Hello? Okay, so here R is nothing but your rising edge and F is nothing but your falling edge. So when signal moving from 0 volt towards 5, then it is called as rising edge, as voltage level is increasing, rising. And when voltage is decreasing, that is from 5 volt to 0 volt, in that case we consider as a falling edge. So this is related to rising falling edge of an interrupt. So I think you have completed INT 0 and INT 1. Okay. After that you write for timer 0 and timer 1, P3.4 to P3.5. Timer is nothing but timer and counter signals. So please write it, make it fast. So in this case, when we want to use counter, that is external clock pulse is need to apply to the controller. In that case, these clock pulses are may be applied at T0 and T1 pins, that is P 3.4 and P3.5. That is mostly in case of external clock pulses. When we want to use the internal clock pulses, that is used as a timer, in that case it is not necessary to connect the external clock source. Most of the cases we are dealing with internal clock pulses. So these two pins are available for using as an input pin or output pin most of the cases. But in some cases, if it you required an external clock pulse, then external clock pulse is connected either at T0 or at T1. Okay. After that, you write for write and read, WR and RD. P3.6, P3.7. So these two signals are used for accessing the external memory. WR is nothing but writing and RD is nothing but your reading. Please do it fast. Okay, completed. No one is in waiting room, na? Okay. So next pins, if we are talking about the next port, that is P2 from right hand side and from the bottom side. So P2 is nothing but increasing pin numbers 21 to 28, P2.0 to P2.7. So mention 21 to 28, P2.0 to P2.7, whatever the common features, that is 8-bit bidirectional IO port, for acting as an input you should make 1, for acting as output you should make 0, and internal pull-up registers are also available with this port. So all the three functions are similar with respect to the port 1, port 3. So write all three as above. 10 minutes are there. Still candidates. Okay, so write additional pin function, that is A8 to A15. As A is nothing but your address bus, and that too starting from 8 to 15. So it is higher order address bus or higher order byte. Lower byte is associated with AD0 to AD7, and higher byte is associated with A8 to A15. So you mention additional pin function. Port 2 also acts as a higher order address bus in bracket. While dictation you mention that A8 to A15, but in writing we generally write A15-A8, or you may write A8-A15, no problem. You take next 32 to 39. Here, sorry, one change is there. Instead of writing P0.0, so write first P0.7 to P0.0, reverse manner pin name, as we are starting from 32. So pin number 32 is having the pin of P0.7, and pin number 39 is having the pin of P0.7. So write same function, that is 8-bit bidirectional IO port, similar to earlier ports, that is 1, 3 and 2. Again, for making the port as an input port or input pin, single pin from that port, you should apply logic 1, that is VCC, to that particular pin or particular port. So acting as input, make 1, and for acting as output, make 0. So here in case of port 0, internal pull-up registers are not there. So it is necessary to connect external pull-up registers. So mention specifically or make it star mark external. And in addition to that, the additional pin function is AD0 to AD7. So port 0 is acts as a 8-bit data bus, that is D0 to D7, and lower order address bus, that is A0 to A7. So both are in combined manner or combined together. That's why it is necessary to use demultiplexing technique or demultiplexing circuit, so that we are able to separate out address as well as data. So after using the demultiplexing, that is latch IC 74373, we are getting the address from AD0 to AD7. And before applying to the latch IC, if we directly interact with the 8 lines, that is AD0 to AD7, it will be considered as a address lines. And after latch IC, or that is output of an latch IC 74373, we consider as A0 to A7 is your address. Okay. So this is regarding port 0. So all ports are there: P1, P3, P2 and P4. 1 to 8, 10 to 17, 21 to 28 and 32 to 39. After that you go for supply connections. So mention pin 40 as a VCC, 5 volt supply is there, and pin 20 ground signal is there. Okay, have you completed till ground signal? After that go for reset pin. So to reset the controller, that is CPU of an controller, one thing is